is a Bramble Jam podcast. Hi, I'm Bran, and I love literally anything Kristoffer Polaha puts his hands on.
See, this isn't fair because I'm not going to say I despise that. Not for the life of me. I despise Hallmark movies, but this guy's a champion.
And I'm the guy they're talking about. What's up, gentlemen?
And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast. Live. Oh, man.
This is our first live episode, Chris, aside from the 24-hour stream.
Yeah. We're live. Like, we're pushing live.
This is the first one?
The first
that
time we've ever pushed
really
live.
pushed live.
That's right. Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think it's only fitting, gentlemen, because I was your first guest.
That's right.
Ever.
That's right. Yeah. So this
is a nice full circle moment here.
It is. And I said this to you when we got on the air, but you cut your hair. You got a hat on. You look 20.
Look at that guy.
You look 25, Chris. I like. How are you doing it, man? And also, can I ask what you shaved your head completely for? Like, what was that about?
Yeah, you know what? We had gone through the pandemic, the whole world. This is no news to anybody. And what I had done was not gotten a haircut I started filming a movie. And so I hadn't cut my hair from December of 2019, all the way until December 2020. And I had a beard at one point, and I just thought, I have a lot of hair. And while I can still grow it back pretty healthfully, I think I just want to start fresh. So for absolutely no reason whatsoever, other than just wanting to start a whole new chapter, I shaved my head, and it was amazing and liberating. I don't know if you guys have ever shaved your head.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't, go for it.
I like it. Some motivational thoughts there about shaving your head.
Showers were the best. You just get in there and you're like,
that's it. You're done.
I have been I've been thinking about shaving my beard. I've been kind of going through, like, every once, it just kind of keeps popping into my mind. I also, about a year and a half ago, I toyed around with the idea of dyeing my hair gray.
That's weird.
You get to match your last name.
Yeah. And
it's a good bit for people that don't know you, Brian.
I want them to say, "Hey, what's your name?" and me just be able to point and keep walking. I want to have as little contact with people as possible.
Seems weird, Afro.
Paul Green did. He did his hair green, right? And he was like,
Yeah. So I might not do that part, but I might shave my beard. I don't know. We'll see.
The problem though, guys, is that you have now become iconic to the people who know and love you. And I think when your book is released in September, the whole world is going to see these three heads, boop, boom, boom, and they're going to just identify the Christmas season with these elfish, bearded. And if you shave, man, it's brand. You're like Mickey Mouse at this point. That would be like Mickey pushing his ears back.
Wow.
I'm looking for a change. I don't know who that Mickey Mouse is.
I don't either. But Mickey without his ears, that just is weird.
I don't want
That's
it.
disturbing.
I don't want any part of that.
Speaking of books and being an author, though, Chris, let's not sell yourself short here, buddy. Before our book gets to the shelves months from now, your book is coming out very shortly. In fact, in a matter of days, even.
That's true.
Author Kristoffer Polaha, Moments Like This is coming out. How excited are you?
Here's the book. I got to show it off.
Look at that.
Man.
Look at this. It's beautiful. It's like,
how many pages are we looking at? How many pages?
Well, we're looking at 46 chapters.
Whoa.
And we're looking at, I'll tell you exactly the page count. We're looking at 285 pages.
Okay.
But don't let that intimidate you. You go to Hawaii and you fall in love through these two characters, a girl named Andy and a guy she meets named Warren. And I lived in Hawaii. So a lot of it was just from my own personal experiences and places that I got to go to on Oahu that I thought were really spectacular and that a lot of tourists don't even know about or have really the time. Like, if you're there for 2 weeks, chances are you're not going to go to the spots that I take you to in this book because you just don't have the time for it. But it was a blast, man. And I've never written a book before and got a chance to just sit down and write. And it was fun.
I want you to take us like, just tell us how this happened.
Hold on a second.
What's up?
I got to say, for your first live show, you just directed live. Like, we just cut to a.
Yeah, Brandon's producing. I do everything.
It's amazing, guys.
It's whatever. It's whatever. Thank you, Chris. But I want back to you.
I mean, we just got electricity in South Carolina 15 years ago, so we're doing it, man.
How did this happen? Because you're just an actor.
An actor.
You're just an actor.
I'm just a lowly thespian.
That's right. How do you get to the point where you're like, I want to write a novel. I want there to be romance. How do you and Anna meet up? Like, how did it all happen? Give me all the tea, Chris.
I'm going to tell you guys a story.
Please.
So it was March of 2020.
Okay.
A global pandemic swept the face of the earth. Things had shut down. My kids were home from school. They weren't even doing Zoom classes yet. Like, they were not in school yet.
You shut it down.
Yeah, it was shut down. You remember this time. And I was outside playing football with my boys there's this green space by our house. And I have this neighbor. His name is Javier. And Javier and his wife, Ann, were walking, and Javier said, I have a friend of mine. She sits on the board of a foundation that I work with, and she's a romance author. She's written 6 books, and she's very interested in turning those books into movies. And she was thinking that Hallmark would be a good place to do that. And I said, well, and I had just opened up, so I have this production company called Podunk Productions. I've just directed my first short film called A Work of Art, which we're hitting the festival circuit this year, and I'm really, really proud of it. It's an anti-suicide, like this young girl, teenager, who's contemplating suicide and then does not. So it's this really beautiful kind of pro-life movie that I'm super proud of, and I have pitched a few things to Hallmark and to other places, and have been trying to sort of just extend what I do so that I'm no longer just a lowly thespian, that I can actually, I'm just trying to, broaden the reach a little bit. So when Javier was like, would you be happy to get on a Zoom call with Anna and talk to her about her books? I was like, absolutely. So we jumped onto a Zoom call that Friday. Anna, I read her books, like I'd read some of the stuff that she'd written. And frankly, it was about grief and loss and forgiveness. And the love was really complicated. And it was far too complicated for Hallmark, to be honest. Like, it was like, it didn't fit the matrix. And I told her so much. And I said, you have these amazing books, but they'd be great for Apple Plus or Netflix, or there are other networks that if you'd like to try to sell them to, we can do that. And I'd be happy to partner with you on that. And I said, one of the things what I've noticed going in and pitching ideas is that they love it when you own the IP. And owning IP means that you have to go and buy the rights to a book. And I said, the best way to own the rights to a book is to just go ahead and write it yourself. I said, so if you ever have an idea and you just want to co-author with me, I would love to do that. Like, if you want to take something to Hallmark, we can write something and tailor make it a book specifically for that Hallmark audience. And she said, literally on that first Zoom call, she said, well, I'm working on this series. It's called From Kona with Love, that my publishers and I have decided that I would write. And I'm about 12 chapters into the first book. Would you like to partner on that with me? And I was like, I said, hold on a second. You want me to partner on a whole series of books with you? Like, we just met. And she's like, no, I really would like that. Like, I think, and we had
also 12 chapters. Like, you're done at that point in my mind.
Hey, it's 46, man.
More than 12. Whoa.
I jump in. And I said, why don't you go talk to your husband and ask if it's cool that you split, your books 50-50 with this guy that you don't really know yet. And let me think about it this weekend. And so we got back on another Zoom call the following Monday. And she was like, I thought about it. I talked to my agent about it. I love it. My husband's like, we're all in. Like, I'm in. I want to do this with you. And I was like, I'm in. I'm 100% in. So that Wednesday, we had our contracts. All the paperwork was signed. And then we just started collaborating and spitballing. And then I had the unique pleasure of going to film in the UK this summer. And I had to do 2 weeks in quarantine. So I literally just spent 2 weeks at the Langley Hotel. And I had this weird fever. It was almost like a fever dream where I just wrote nonstop and just hammered out.
How did it work? Did you share a Google Doc and you were just kind of going back and forth?
That's what we're doing for book 2.
Okay.
But for book 1, I would just write in my pages and then send her off a chapter.
Huh.
So then I would just, and each chapter is around like between 2,000 to 5,000 words. And we would just I would just hammer this stuff out to her. And
did she know though? Like, what if you sucked at writing?
What if you were bad?
What if you were bad and you messed up like her name besmirched?
I think it would have been the first and last. I think that I would have been scrubbed from the project.
And when you say
I have a firm belief that they would have been like, oh, great, nice, thank you, and then just sort of like done with it.
This is good, Chris. Good stuff. Yeah,
like,
this
good
is
job.
Yeah, have you ever been at an audition, Chris, and at the end of it, the director or whomever's in there just goes, "Okay," they do one of those.
Okay. No, I was in an audition once. This guy named Mark. I won't say his last name, but
Zuckerberg.
He was the casting director, and I was there with Mimi Leader was the director, and I did this audition, man, and I gave it my heart, like I was there, and this guy Mark goes, "Make us laugh, do a scene from North Shore," and I was like, "Do a scene from North Shore," and I looked at him like, "You mother," and I said, I said, "I don't know what you're trying to get at with that, but like, that was actually a really cool job. I got to go live in Hawaii for a year with my family. My kid was born there." I was like, and then Mimi Leader was like, "I like that, John Pride." But yeah, he tried to like ridicule me in the moment.
Wow.
That was a low.
That's brutal.
He sense, and I'm always like,
that Mark sounded a little bit like Jack Nicholson, just a little bit. When you did them, just
make us laugh.
That's right. Yeah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Hey, can you turn to page 136 of your book and read us line 4?
Yeah, I can.
We're gonna do this sporadically throughout the.
I love this. Chat. Okay, line 4.
Just line 4.
Line 4. That's it.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I said, lifting one foot straight up and rotating my ankle. 4 hours in these heels was a little brutal.
Boy, there's a lot to unpack there. You're just going to have to pick up the book yourself, I think, to really.
You know what's amazing was doing this. I did the
What are the odds? What are the odds there? I promise he didn't send us the book. He didn't send us a copy.
That was amazing. I did the audiobook, and the first whole part is from Andy's point of view, which is this young woman, and I'm reading it like Andy. So I'm sitting there reading stuff like that, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Look, 4 hours in those heels, man. You know.
So you're writing back and forth. You're sending stuff. Pages. How long did that take going back and forth?
We hammered out a book in literally the course of a month and a half, I think.
Wow.
We crushed it.
Man.
Like I said, it was like a fever dream. I mean, I would every day, I was submitting literally 2 to 3 chapters a day. And and then she formatted it. Anna formatted it. So it's called Moments Like This. And what happened was we ended up, so these 2 people meet, Andy and Warren meet for whatever reason in Hawaii. And he decides to take her on a Grand Moments tour. And he's like, I just want to have these incredible moments with you. And he takes her every Friday to a new place on Oahu. And they have this really beautiful, it's a romance, but they're not telling each other about their past, who they are, where they're from. Like, they don't want to know anything, and they both want fresh starts. And so it's a deal that they make. And then, of course, like life, the truth comes out.
I love that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm really cool idea. This movie where the movie is shot out of sequence. Yeah. So like you get random, almost like, remember like 500 Days of Summer with Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Like these trips aren't in chronological order, and they leave some mystery to the romance.
Well, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
The objective is to take these books and 100% pipeline them straight into making movies out of them. And I'm buddies with Jason Momoa, and we've created a character for book 4 that like is written for Jason, because I was like, why not? Like, go home and film a movie for us.
He needs a break too. That guy, he can't catch a break. Aquaman.
No one wants to hire him.
Yeah, tough Tough sledding out there.
I wanted like how does that kind of approach, like wanting a book to become a movie, change the approach of writing a book, like a novel? I want, like, does it change? Like, are you thinking more visually, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you I kept it within the parameters of being able to film it and stay true to the book. So we wrote it knowing that we would like to make a screenplay out of it, and therefore we didn't jump too far out of either for budgetary reasons or like location reasons. I made it's all self-contained. Mm-hmm. So we have books one. So we have book one done. We're writing book two. And then we have 3, 4, and then book 5. And we have all this stuff mapped out already.
Oh, wow.
And so books 1, 2, and 5 would be a trilogy of films. And then book 3 and 4, if we are able to do it at all, and they do well, then 3 and 4 would be these standalone sort of independent, cool. One is super sexy, and then one takes place back in 1941. I mean, it's a really cool.
Wow.
And all of them take place in Hawaii.
I don't know if you know this, but 1941 in Hawaii, pretty historical year, Chris.
Yeah, do you know why? Why?
Yeah, Pearl Harbor, December 7th. Yes.
There you go. December 7th, 1941. That's where book 3 starts.
Wow. Man.
So we have been, and all of it, guys, is your audience loves the Hallmark Channel, and I know you guys do too, Dan. And I know that we have, and when Anna and I met, it was always specifically, we had in mind that these movies would be sold and made for the Hallmark Channel. And I don't know if that's going to be the case at this point, because they've gotten a little racier and a little more complicated than we originally started out with.
4 hours in those heels. I mean,
4 hours in the heels is gonna bust a girl's legs.
Yeah.
We made them though with the Hallmark audience in mind. So it's not like there's no lit porn. I'm sorry to say, you're not going to get, descriptions of things.
Yeah, that's fair, Chris. What about page like 212, line 6?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Hope you're listening, Hallmark.
212.
Line 6.
212, line 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. She placed the coffee pot on a tray, took out some cups, and walked out to the veranda.
Wow, really leave us wanting more there.
Walked out to the veranda.
What is she going to do out there?
You never know. Probably
she says something next in line 7, but I don't want to spoil it.
No. Line 6 is
line 7 really, it always gives it away.
Yeah.
I want to know also, like, what was it like for you kind of figuring out how to write? Like, I know you've written stuff like with the screen in mind before, scripts or pitches and stuff like that. How long did it take you before you were really comfortable writing like a novel versus what you had written in the past with pitches and whatnot?
I mean, here's the thing that I found this little answer in an interview the other day. Like, you know how some people sing in the shower?
Yep.
And they're pretty good at it. They're actually legitimately good singers. They just never do it publicly. I feel like that was kind of me with writing. Like, ever since high school, I've always been a short story writer. I keep a journal. Like, I've been writing, and I have a stack of journals at home, which are ideas and then short stories. You guys know I do like the little haiku things, which I have shirked all my responsibilities for the rest. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you've moved on, but
that's where most people know you from, is Take the Day Off.
That's right. They take the day off. Haikus.
They're just happy to know you're alive.
Speaking of which, I know you're in the middle of an answer, but you said you were in London at this hotel and you're in the zone writing. What was it like to be in that zone and have some idiot from South Carolina keep asking you to go do haikus out in the field?
Yeah, but how great was it? I got up at 5:45 in the morning, and there were birds.
Dude, the haikus it was so perfect. Like,
my favorite was when the guy
there's a guy walking behind you,
just like walks
and you're
by.
just like, hey, what's going on there?
So good.
That was great, man.
I know, and I could keep him up for you, but I feel like you guys are. I don't know. You tell me what you want to do with that.
He clearly has moved on, and that's we got a lot of haikus out of Chris, so we're not going to ask for any more. I think that's fair.
Speak for yourself.
Brand's like,
I'll be talking to him later. You stay on the line.
When I to be really honest with you, Anna gets an amazing amount of credit. She gets all the credit. It was her invitation to join her. She became endlessly supportive and endlessly encouraging. I would send her a chapter, and I was waiting, Dan, for this is a piece of shit. Like, you shouldn't write ever again. And instead, she was like, wow, this is wonderful. What else do you have? And then and she said, just write whatever you want, write, just write. So I had the best partner in the world, and it was a deeply pleasurable collaboration. We've never met. It was all on Zoom. We meet once a week on Zoom, so we would just spitball and we would talk, and we kind of knew where the story was going to go, and then we would just flow into this final destination. Working on book 2 has been really interesting because we're playing this game of table tennis. So I've been in control of the male's narrative, and she's been in control of the female's narrative. And we were telling these two separate stories, and now that we're merging, we're now bouncing back and forth, and then they're going to split apart again. And it's just been a really cool process. I mean, it's really been, fun.
I want to know from your perspective as you're writing the male part, do you see yourself playing that character, or do you does someone else come to mind? Like, are you writing and then someone else pops in your mind, you're like, that'd be cool if this person was this person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, certainly for book 1, for the role of Warren, I see myself as that character. And then for book 2, I kind of thought you might be a good choice.
Well, I was going to ask you, Chris, you told us before, and you'd written all of us parts in these books. So just do we have a pretty meaty role, or is it just kind of a sideshow?
No, it's actually you guys. So Bran was going to be my guy. Like, he's the sort of the guy that the girl falls in love with.
Classic good looks, no doubt about it.
But Dan, your character enters around chapter 8, so early on, and you're all the way there through the end, and you actually pose a huge threat.
As he does.
Panda is the best friend that he's, unfortunately he's not here today to hear that great news, but he's in the book, from day 1 until almost the end, and unfortunately something terrible goes wrong.
No.
Sharks.
Oh boy, it gets him. Panda can't swim,
Hey, page 96, line 4.
I love this. I do. I really do.
You're not getting this anywhere else, kids. I can tell you that right now.
You're not going to get this anywhere else. Okay, page 96. What line?
Line 4.
It's purely business. Mm-hmm. Let's wait for Appy to get back. It's not a big issue, really.
It's not a big issue, really.
Whenever somebody says that, it is a big issue.
It is a big issue. Chris, you as always, every time we talk to you, you got 100 things going on. You're a busy man, wanted in the field of acting, and you got Jurassic World in the can. Dominion, I believe, is the subtitle. You've got a Mystery 101.
We can say that, right? We can say that.
You can say that.
Yeah, it's on the IMDb.
I just with at this point.
But you've also got Mystery 101 coming out in a week or two, and I don't know the exact date, but it's coming around the corner. We're back in the saddle.
20th? Does that sound right?
It's 21st, guys. It's March 21st.
All right, so less than 3 weeks away, or 2.5 weeks away.
Yep.
Very exciting about that, and you've got that, and you got this book. You got a lot going on. Can you tell us a little bit about
Madness?
March Madness, of course.
March is a good. You would think that March would be like, the greatest month in the world. And it is.
Wow.
And it is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Can tell us about the Mystery 101.
So Mystery 101, the new episode is called, or the new entry into the anthology is called Killer Timing. And it's, it made you yawn.
It didn't make me, Chris. You can see that no one else can see me yawning, but you, Chris.
It's live.
I know, but you're on the full screen, so you can't see me.
Okay.
But I did yawn, Chris, and it's not because of you. We've already had lunch here, man. It was. I tell you what, it was the veranda line. It put me to sleep. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't want to be that guy. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Anyway.
I'm interested.
Killer Timing, March 21st, Hallmark's Movies and Mysteries channel, which I got a sad text on Twitter this young lady, she was like, it's a premium channel. I can't afford it. So I can't watch any more of your Mystery 101. So it's on their little, I call it their premium channel, but it's just, you got to pay extra to be on, to watch Hallmark movies and mysteries. And so if you don't have that, you won't be able to see it. But it's been, I got to be honest, man, you and I were talking before the show, and you gave a little nod to the quality of the series. And it's something that Jill Wagner and I have tried to do from movie one, which is create something that's a little darker, a little more, just something that you would find on any network. Like if you were watching CBS or if you were watching, so that it, you know what I mean? Like it defies that the genre that Hallmark is so famous for.
It feels really intense. Like it feels intense. Like your performance, you're giving a very intense detective performance. Like it doesn't feel like it's been, that they've held any bars, so to speak, or barred any holds.
And there's a cool story on this one. When I was in college at NYU, I was walking up a city street, 9th Avenue, with a friend of mine named Catherine, and I was on her right, and she was on my left, and I switched places with her. And I said aloud, I don't know why, but I feel better on this side of you. And 2 blocks later, a guy was trying to burn his restaurant down, and the building exploded.
Wow.
And we were caught in this blast, and I eclipsed Catherine from all this glass. We both ended up in the street. Long story short, 120 stitches later. So I told one of the executives that at Hallmark at a lunch one day, Heather, and she was like, would you mind if we used that in the movie? Because the weird thing was, in real life, after we blew up, we got into a taxi cab, and I asked Catherine, I was like, will you kiss me? And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, and so I asked her to kiss me while my face was gushing blood, because I think if you want to jump into the subconscious, I just needed to know that I was alive.
Man, that you must have been in shock. That is some kind of story. Is that from the book or is that real life there?
No, this is my real life.
You had 120 stitches on your face?
I had 80 in my face right here, and then the rest on the hand and the rest on the wrist.
Wow.
Yeah. 120 stitches. So in the cab,
and you are spitting game. You are bleeding out of the side of your face, and you're like, I'm gonna see what I got here. I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Exactly. So
if you can't do it now, when can you?
Wow.
So Heather heard this story, and she's like, can we put that in the movie? So you'll see my guy get blown up, and then you'll see my guy lay a fat one on Wagner's character.
That is just fantastic stuff. The first time we had you on, all the way back in 2018, I said we should do a podcast called Cool Stories with Chris. 3 years later, I do not stand corrected. If we've not heard that gem of a story yet, Chris,
we've heard that story, but not the kiss part.
The kiss part.
The kiss is a revelation.
180 some stitches.
I don't talk about the kiss. I don't talk about the kiss that much, but yeah, that happened.
80 some stitches, pre-stitches. You're borderline.
Pre-stitches. I've got a paper towel wadded up and jammed into my face.
You are like borderline Harvey Dent in the Dark Knight territory right now, and you're like, hey baby, what's going on? Like that's
what Chris leaves out of that story is she jumped out of the cab. It's like, no way,
man,
blood all over you.
That's bonkers.
What do you think take me for?
Man, and then Sixpence None the Richer started playing in the cab.
Kiss me.
That's right. Yeah. It was a whole
blood coming out my face. Scary.
Man.
Blood is gushing, baby.
Yeah, he gets it. So you got Mystery 101 coming out, which I'm assuming we'll see some Twitter. You got the book. You're wearing the hat of the fad sweeping the nation, Polaha Chautauqua. Those are fun, man. Those are a ton of. Bran occasionally stops by.
I'll pop in every once in a while and let him know that there is a guy watching. Sometimes
can you believe what that's turned into, man? Like that,
I can't.
It's unreal.
I really can't. It's unreal. Yeah, it's unreal. And it's been, my kids. I'll be like, guys, I gotta go live, and they're like, what are you doing, Dad? And I'll do my little Polaha Chautauqua live on Instagram, and afterwards. This was around November. Both of my teenage sons were like, Dad, we're really proud of you. Like, you've created a community of people that, like, they really, like, you make them feel good, and it inspires people. And, like, it's like a real community. And I think in the face of the pandemic specifically, when people were isolated and at home and were having a really hard time finding other people to talk to, I just felt this need to push live one day. And I'm an actor. It's what I do for a living. But this whole idea of celebrity and all the bullshit, and you see so many actors like who keep cashing in on the thing that they do. I've never known how to work social media because I don't, like you say, stories with Chris or conversation, whatever that your podcast would be, which would be fun. And we have a ton, but my currency as an actor is significantly less than anything I can offer as a human. And my story includes my faith. It includes, I mean, there's so many aspects that have nothing to do with me as an actor. And when the whole world thought that it was going to die because of COVID, my response was just to go live, and I wanted to see how people were handling it. I wanted to talk to people and connect with people, and it really did. It turned into something fun. My kid wrote a theme song with me for it, and we show up every Sunday night. I show up every Sunday night at 4 p.m. on LA time, and I push live, and whatever happens, happens. I've had some cool guests like Gabby Reese and Tim Tebow and Rainn Wilson have joined me, so it's been fun.
Brand sang a song, the theme song.
You crushed my theme song. You knocked it out of the park to such a degree that I started tinkering with how I sing it, where I'm like, well, that sounded good.
Brand's got that upper register, Chris. He's got the upper register. You just can't mess with that.
You can't mess with it.
That's right.
And the guitaring of it that was a choice. People can see it if they go to Polaha on Instagram. They can see your rendition of the song.
It's a good song, and it took me a while to get the wording down. Like it took me a while. So kudos to you and your son for knocking it out of the park.
Thanks, man.
Making a special song. It's easy to just say words, but to make them fun.
And I will say this, we joke a lot on this show, and we will continue to do so. But Kristoffer Polaha is not joking around about making sure his humanity is more important than his celebrity. Months ago, a friend of mine from Texas sent me an article of this girl who had this condition that no one could figure out in the hospital, and they had to spend just months on it in the hospital, and their favorite thing to do was Hallmark movies, and they couldn't watch them, and they were trying to figure out how to watch them and trying to figure out what to do, and they were talking about the people they liked, and one of the first names they mentioned obviously was Chris Polaha, and this person in Texas who went to school with my wife was like best friends with my wife. She texted me and said, hey, thought you would like this, and I don't know what you could do about it. I texted Chris and just said, hey, these people really love you and they're having a hard time. And I just figured you want to know. This guy, without hesitation or without any worry of what it meant for him or anything, took time out of his day and shot a full video and with their full names and just wished them well. And it's just the kind of guy you are, man. And I know we joke a lot, but I mean, God bless you, dude. Like for being someone that cares about people more than cares about a profession, because those people don't come around too often. And you're just one of a kind, man. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You don't know what to say there. I get it. I understand. Which is
speechless,
fun.
Dan.
Can you go to like 272 line 9 for me?
Is it
272?
Is that out of the book? Is that like the last page of the book?
No, we're still good, man. We got tons of words.
Line 9. Line 9.
Line 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I bet on the wrong things and lost everything. I gained it all back when I came here.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's getting real.
You never buy the same horse twice.
You don't buy the same horse twice. You wouldn't do it. No. You wouldn't buy the same horse twice.
We haven't talked to you on this show since Wonder Woman. And this is what I want to ask you about Wonder Woman. There were articles after the fact that pointed out that.
Go ahead. I want to see this. See these verbal gymnastics.
So Gal gets, back together with the guy,
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
But Chris Pine is you. It's taken over your
body.
Your body.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is implied that there is
relations.
Boots knocking.
That's right.
Right.
Where are you? Where are you in that moment?
Like, I know you don't remember it, but it's still you in the act, is it not?
Yeah. It's the body.
I want to know, did you read it and think,
I had conversations with Patty Jenkins, and I said, so where am I? Is Handsome Man. And I asked also, I said, do we name him? And she's like, no, I think it's funny. Like, I think we don't name him because it's funny. Like, it's funnier. And I was like, okay. And then she just loved the idea of him being the handsome man. And I said, well, so where does Handsome Man go? Do you want him to recognize her at the end? Is there any? She's like, nope, there's no recognition. And so when I saw the movie at Warner Brothers, the head of publicity, she said, I pitched to Warner Brothers and to Patty, we should do a little after movie scene where your character is like on a beach somewhere or like just in Valhalla or wherever you want to put this guy, like momentarily displaced. But I have a theory, guys. Do you want to hear my theory?
I love to hear the theory. Absolutely.
Okay. So it was the summer of 2018, and we all know it well because that's when we met.
That's right.
That was the big kickoff of this Fantastic Four friendship.
That's right.
And I got a phone call that I got cast, and Patty Jenkins wanted to get on the phone with me. And she told me very briefly about the idea of there was going to be a wishing stone. It was like the monkey's paw story where when you make a wish, you get it, but you don't exactly know what you're getting. And I was excited. And I talked to my son, Micah. I was like, Micah, because he's a huge MU fan. He loved Marvel comics.
Yeah.
But he was also like into DC a little bit. And I said, let's do some research. And let's figure out like who in the DC universe is up to no good. Like who can shapeshift, who can deceive, who can who can do this. So Micah goes online and he discovers that there's a character in the DC universe called the Duke of Deception. So I start doing all this Duke of Deception research before I got on the phone with Patty Jenkins, before I understand, before we have a conversation about the character. And I do all my homework. And then Patty and I have our call. And she's like, so do you have an idea? Like, she's like, she's like, I can tell you certain things. She's like, what do you think? And I said, well, does this have anything to do with the Duke of Deception? Like, am I the Duke of Deception? And she was like, oh, that's so weird. She's like, no, but the Duke of Deception created the stone. So my thought is,
oh boy,
what if the Handsome Man is the Duke of Deception?
Yeah, boy.
And he was like, I know how to like hang out with Wonder Woman. I'll just let Steve take over my body.
I love it.
And so,
I love it.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea. It was better than anything I got. I mean, from a standpoint of, because I was doing some just straight gymnastics trying to get to the point where I understood, like, he doesn't rember it, but he did it. Like that just a little wild.
Do I give you an attaboy? I don't know.
There was no consent. For a brief moment, for a white hot moment, I was an internet, my character, I wasn't. Handsome Man was quite the conversation on the old Twitter.
That was my next question Variety, Chris, not some magazine that Brandon and I named Variety that we print in the office, like the Variety magazine. Like they wrote a whole piece on you. Yeah. Like, were you prepared? Were you anticipating anything like that happening?
No, my star meter shot up to the top. It's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening right now? And my buddy Colin Trevorrow, who's the director of Jurassic World, he called me the next day and he's like, so the movie came out on December 25th. He called me on the 26th and was like, dude, welcome to the party. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I went online to look at Wonder Woman. He's like, your character is like, everybody is talking about your character. And I said, what do I do? And he's like, you say nothing, you do nothing. It's not about you, it's about your character. I said, He said, just you write it out. Write it out.
But now how many people, when Jurassic World finally comes out in like 2036 or whatever, like when that movie comes out, are people going to go, is that handsome man from
That's
Wonder
exactly
Woman?
what Colin said. He's like, you're going to show up on screen and be like, hey, there's handsome man.
Do you have more scenes? Do you have more screen time in Jurassic World than you did as handsome man?
Probably not, to be honest. I mean, I wish I could say, yeah, it's my dang movie, but my character is, the only thing I can say is that he carries the same weight in both stories. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Same
It's
size,
an
but
important role, but
yeah, like same deal where you can't get away from him, but at the same time, he's not. It ain't his movie.
Yeah. Do you inadvertently knock books with Chris Pratt in this movie? Like, is that kind of your thing now?
It's really weird. A dinosaur takes over my body.
Jessica, or is it who is it? It's not Jessica. Bryce Dallas Howard. She like takes somehow is in Chris's body, and it's like Pratt wakes up.
Laura Dern takes over my body, and then so it's Chris Pratt and Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum.
Oh gosh, dare to dream.
Jeff Goldblum, what a national treasure!
This is what I want to ask you, and then we'll wrap up here shortly. But if I were to gun to head, favorite Goldblum story from set?
Oh man, I have to hear this.
You guys, have I told you this yet? He was my neighbor.
No. Stop it, Chris. You are lying to me. What?
I was his upstairs neighbor. Jeff Goldblum lived below me and my wife and my kids. And every night my kids would be jumping on the floor and be like, guys, you're going to wake up Jeff. Don't wake up Jeff.
No.
And then every once in a while I'd hear him playing his piano. You could hear it rise up through the floor. Jeff was one of those guys who, I'll tell you a really cool story.
Did you, before you do that, did he remember you when you got on set for Jurassic World? Did you say, hey neighbor, like, how's it going? Did he remember you?
No, dude, he and I are like, we know each other. We're like, I used to walk through the courtyard while they were all having dinner, and I always felt obligated to sit and talk for a minute. His wife and I were we ran, so there was a girl named Destry Spielberg, who's Steven's daughter. Emily Goldblum is Jeff's wife. And we would go running through we had a team. We had like a run team, and we would go 3 times a week and run through Black Park.
You want to know what a great like setup of a joke is? So it's me, Steven Spielberg's daughter, and Jeff Goldblum's wife. We're running through the woods.
Yeah.
We're running through the woods.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Man. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Great Jeff Goldblum story. Go ahead. Great Jeff Goldblum story. I want to hear.
The tree fell.
That's the mystery 101 right there.
Yeah. So Jeff, okay, so here's the coolest story. So I'm about to go on my run, and we're at this Langley Hotel. And if you look it up, Google it, there's this big, beautiful, grand staircase. There's a fountain on the circular driveway. There's this big, beautiful, grand staircase. And then you go into this building. And I walk out and I see Laura Dern and I see Sam Neill. And they're both standing on this balcony overlooking the fountain, and I kind of come up behind him. I'm like, hey guys, and down below is Jeff Goldblum, and he's just arrived. And it was truly this, like, it was a movie magic, because I was a kid when I saw Jurassic Park.
I mean, the three of those together, that is my, like, I can't sit still right now, Chris.
No, and it was one of those moments where I like wanted to grab a camera and be like, can I get a picture of this moment? But I didn't want to be that guy, and the first impression be like, not of me and them. I wanted to just.
I just want you guys.
Yeah. Moment. What if you just walked up and just started humming the thing?
Oh, sorry, guys.
Where's that music coming from?
But I turned around and I walked backwards, and I saw the whole thing get smaller and smaller, and it was him, and he had like, all this staff. It was like watching a prince show up, because all the staff was out to greet him, and then it was a very cool, the whole experience was amazing. And, because of the pandemic, we were stuck at the Langley, like we couldn't move. So Friday nights we were on the terrace, we would just tell stories. Saturday nights, everybody. And then of course people would chill out, because Sundays were the night before work, and people were working throughout the week, but every Friday night and every Saturday night, the fact that it was the pandemic meant my wife and kids were able to come and join me.
That's awesome.
The producers are like, it's scary. Why don't you bring them here? We have the space. be with your family. So my kids went and they did Zoom school. They were in London doing live Zoom with their class at 4:00 in the afternoon. They'd start school and they would work until 11:30 at night.
Wow.
And everyone in their class was like, why is it dark where you are?
That's
like,
great.
in England. Like, it was a really cool moment.
Is that Chris Pratt behind you? What's going on?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what's funny is my kid, so Caleb, my oldest boy, sings and plays guitar. And it's something that he's really gotten into. And he writes music. He's written 13 songs. And I'm his daddy, so I'm biased, but they're really good.
Dude, I was going to text you. I watched the song you posted for Valentine's Day that he wrote for his school.
Right?
It's a really good song.
Good, but I couldn't get past the fact that he looks just like you. Like he looks like.
I know, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
It
was a great song, great voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of him. So Scott Hayes, fellow actor in the movie, has a theater in Los Angeles. He needed to do a performance to get a grant from LA. And he asked Caleb if he would be the opening act for his girlfriend, Taylor, who then played. And they were going to, do the thing live on Facebook. And so Caleb plays in front of Bryce Dallas Howard, in front of Laura Dern, in front of Jeff Goldblum, in front of Sam Neill, in front of all the producers, everybody, all of the makeup teams. And we all lived at the Langley. Stunt guys, stand-ins, everybody. We were all living in the Langley together. And Caleb does his first performance, and it was like 50 people. And afterwards, the only person who wasn't there was Chris Pratt, and I'm getting to the story. So afterwards, everybody comes up, like Laura Dern said, Caleb, I get to tell people I was at your first concert. One day I'll get to tell people. Like, it was a really big moment for him.
That's awesome.
Bryce Dallas Howard came up with a camera, and she's like, I want to interview you. Where are you from? How old are you? When did you? So then the next weekend, Chris is there, and everyone said, Chris, you got to hear Caleb play. He's really good. And Caleb grew up watching Chris Pratt as Galaxy Quest, Star-Lord. And I've never seen my son nervous. Like, he had just done this performance for 50 people and crushed it.
Way different.
And here he was with Chris Pratt, and he was like, like trying to get the nerves out. And we were watching him play. We're like, what's going on? And then Chris took his guitar, and Chris played a song that he wrote and he sang. And then Caleb afterwards was like, Star-Lord played my guitar.
Dude, that is
starstruck. It was fun.
I mean, you just can't make that kind of stuff up.
It's so funny. I'm watching Everwood right now. Treat Williams is in it. Fantastic.
Yes.
The venerable.
But Chris Pratt's in it. Like, it's his, I think his first long.
That's his first gig.
Yeah. It's so funny to watch him in it. It's great. But man,
dude,
Treat's amazing too.
That whole thing is unbelievable. Wow. What a story, man. We're going to do it one day, Chris.
You guys got the best of it. I don't talk about that stuff, and I haven't yet publicly.
Cool stories with Chris. It's happening. I'm just telling you.
Because, it was a cool experience.
Man, that's fantastic.
Well, your book is coming out. People can buy it, right? Like, I know, you said the first batch sold out, but there's more coming, so you can order it, right?
They're hot off the press. You can get it at iBooks. You can get it at Amazon. Anywhere that books are sold, you can pick up this beauty. And we went to great care about how it feels really good.
Yeah.
And it looks beautiful. So if you put this on your coffee table or your bedside stand,
it's going to add a nice pop.
I might show up. I might pop out of the pages.
You never know.
It'll be a portal.
Can't guarantee it, but it's worth a shot.
I am more of an audiobook guy.
And that's not out yet, but it's coming from what I understand. Correct.
It's coming June. It'll be June or July. This summer, we're going to pop that up.
I don't want to wait though, so I might order a book. I might.
You should.
I'll probably order it just to support you, and then I'll still wait for the audiobook. But I'm very excited.
Man,
I'll be honest. The way that you explained it it sounds like a really compelling.
Yeah.
So
it's actually good. Hey guys, listen. You do things in life. We all know this. There are certain jobs you take because they're waving a check at you, and you're like, okay, I'll go do this.
Sure.
When Anna offered this experience for me, I was terrified, excited, and totally inspired creatively. And I am really, really proud of it. Like there are moments in this book that she wrote but that I wrote that I'm really, really proud of. Like from an artist, just a storyteller point of view. And it's a really cool thing. So the whole process has been extraordinary, and I really do want to share with people. So go buy a book if you
want to do it. Moments like this.
March
Anna Gomez,
March 9th.
Polaha.
March 9th. You're not going to want to miss out on it. And then March 21st, Mystery 101. Gives you just enough time if you haven't seen any of the Mystery 101s to binge those somewhere. I don't know. Hallmark.
I think they're doing a marathon.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Tight hold on them.
It's in the vault.
I wish you could see them on Apple TV or something, but they haven't made them available yet.
It is astounding to me how hard it is to
Hallmark
find
makes it very difficult. It's like the Disney vault.
But all of their movies.
Yeah, but all of their movies, and no one has any inventory of the vault. That's what it's like.
The vault's missing.
They're like, where is it?
The vault is just space. It's just like a nebulous. Like nobody knows where anything is. Chris, God bless you, sir.
We love you, buddy.
As always, we love you. You're the best, man. Thanks for coming on and sharing
Dan.
every time.
Thank you, Brandon.
And, good luck with the book and Mystery 101 and Jurassic World for that matter, which I don't think it really needs it, but good luck.
We'll see if anyone goes to see it.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, literally, we've been talking to you for 3 years now. Wonder Woman finally came out, so congratulations.
Hey, good job, buddy.
We thought it was a very long joke, but it came out, so congrats.
Honestly,
Well,
it was you were there at the inception of that.
We were there.
And hey, now for the record, Brandon gets huge kudos.
That's right. Didn't tell anybody.
Didn't tell anyone.
Because you kept your mouth shut. I had signed an NDA, and before I understood the full weight of what that meant.
You were so excited.
You were blabbing the brand.
I just gotten the job, and I told you, I was like, dude, this is what I do.
Dude, you had just found out.
I just found out, and then I called you and I said, bro, I've signed an NDA, and you got a promise, and you did. You were amazing, and you guys are people that could have spilled the beans, and you didn't. So you have my trust and my gratitude, and I'm sorry, Warner Brothers, that I was just a young.
But don't worry,
idiot.
I won't tell them anything about the Steven Spielberg movie.
That's right. Yeah.
What? Oh, man.
Christopher Nolan shot a secret movie starring Kristoffer Polaha? That's wild.
Guys.
Unbelievable. I'm sorry, man. What are we going to do?
You just won't be able to hear any of the dialogue.
Yeah, there's no more running in the woods with Goldblum and Spielberg. I can tell you that right now.
All right, buddy. We love you. We'll talk to you soon, and may we be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
You are. See you guys.
The Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast recorded live, and that Greenville, South Carolina is produced by Brandon Gray. Set decor by Plum Haywood Mall. For more information on all Bramble Jam podcasts, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com. For more information on how to listen to Deck the Hallmark ad-free, you can go to bramblejamplus.com.